This is a Black Nouveau web exclusive. Recently, the Obamas announced their selection of artists to paint their official portraits. Former First Lady Michelle Obama selected Amy Sherald, whose work is seen here. Former President Barack Obama selected Kehinde Wiley, whose work has been featured in Milwaukee. This is from a 2006 exhibit at the John Michael Kohler Arts Center. A mother who engendered a sense of you can do anything you want, and that if your passion is there, the world will find a way for you. Kehinde Wiley, a South Central Los Angeles native, decided early on art was his passion. He said by any means necessary, he was going to make it happen. He studied art at Yale, and in the exhibit, The World Stage China, you can see how Kehinde Wiley made it happen.
The World Stage China exhibit is about the global culture as it relates to Black people. The truth is today you can see Black people all over the television, see them all over music videos, and hear them all over the radio, all over the world. And when I started thinking about a project that engaged the Black body, I was thinking about the way in which we are now beamed throughout the world. And how does the world consume us? What does that look like? And so in that sense, it's about young African-American men from the streets of New York and from the streets of Detroit and from the streets of South Central Los Angeles. But it's also about those cultures to which their bodies are being beamed to. And so China being the first step in what the world stage will ultimately be. The reason why I chose China is because I wanted this project to be about what's going on in the world today. And if you look at the economic global scene right now, China figures in most conversations. If you're talking to creative artists, they're working in China. If you're talking to business and manufacturers, they're working in China. China is poised to be the world's leading economic superpower. And of course I had to start with China.
Kehinde Wiley deals with Black men and smiling in this exhibit.
Most Black men in the media today are usually not smiling. There's a type of hypermasculinity that gets communicated in television and in movies and in popular culture. And I thought it was kind of interesting to see how those smiles, which were originally part of propaganda posters in China, would come across on young Black men in America. It's a very specific conversation to this country. If I, for instance, take these paintings outside of America and have an exhibition of the very same paintings in some place like West Africa, for instance, those questions don't necessarily occur as easily. The depiction of Black men in their nations are a lot more joy-driven. And so in that sense, it was a critique of the ways in which Black men can oftentimes be depicted as menacing. And so that the smile is, I've gone so far as to make that a very separate video part of this as well.
College student Saron Kennedy had a chance to talk with Wiley about his work.
Who's your life influences outside of who inspires you to look at when you was coming up? Who'd you look at and say, well, this is where I want to go?
Well, outside of art, many of the people who have been the most inspirational to me were teachers. People who led by example.
Being a young African-American male, Kennedy connected immediately with Wiley's works because of the clothes depicted in the paintings.
I kind of see it, like looking around this gallery while people were looking at it, you know, I know, I mean, I was even at some point shocked. And I mean, like, well, you know, because usually you would tell someone to take those off, or like, there's the images that you really don't want to show. The pink earrings that he has, the armbands, the hoodies, the G-Unit hoodies, the earrings, the belts, the jeans, all of it is just is what you see every day. So to actually have that, you know, in painting, you know, in a glorified image, is good. So, I commend Kehinde for his works, you know, in doing that.
My hope with all of these paintings is that there's several effects. There's the overall effect when you walk into a room. There's a bold, bright color. Wow, what is that? It's intimidating as a scale and form. But then also my hope is that when you spend time with it, things will slowly unveil themselves to you. You'll start to notice little critters moving around. You'll start to notice elements of dress code that aren't quite right, you'll start to notice, well, where's this lighting coming from and why? And in that sense, you can enjoy a painting in a longer time span than you can any other media. In fact, what happens with painting is that you walk up to the painting and you stand there for a while, and as opposed to the painting changing, you change.